Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video, we're breaking down some breaking news. No pun intended. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about here in a second. Call of Duty just dropped a whole bunch of new intel, bunch of new guns, spots, just a whole bunch of updates, vehicles, all this cool stuff. We're gonna break this video down. It's really long, so I just want to get right into it. And let's begin.
Miles, you should have just let me fly.
I got this.
This is not how I want to go to the gulag.
I've got this. I'm an excellent
Okay.
pilot.
This is the old school heli right off the bat. This is the old school heli.
Wait for Pod Pod.
There it is.
Atlas Supermarket, supplying all of Verdansk needs. This week only, parachutes 50% off. You'd be crazy to miss out on this deal. Use at your own discretion.
5th annual Verdansk 500.
Winter, but only one will be victorious. No holds barred gulag action live. Tune in Sunday on Verdansk LA. Coming back in, let's go.
Ball damage. Okay.
Hello and
Let's
welcome
see what
back
we
to
got
the
going on.
Pod, the official Call of Duty podcast. It's been a while, Steph.
It has been a while. We've been busy. You've been traveling all over the world for Call of Duty League. We've been working hard in the, to launch season 3. Time is almost here, so we had to bring the COD Pod back.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an awesome start to the this season of the CDL Black Ops 6. It's treating us right, but very, very excited to be here, back with the pod, back here at TV Station, because that's
Welcome
right,
to TV
folks.
Station.
Big Verdansk flavor this
Big-
episode.
Big Verdansk energy. So we had to take a POI that we know and love and bring it to life for the pod, and it's kind of cozy in here.
Absolutely. It's quite warm as well. We've got a powerful LED screen behind us, which will be displaying all sorts of fun stuff, especially for you listeners.
Yeah,
Especially for you
it's
guys.
just for you guys. But we've got a monster of an episode today. We've got lots of guests and some incredible intel
Love to
on
see it.
season 3 of Warzone and
It's cool.
Black Ops 6.
Absolutely. Headlines include Verdansk is back, which I am personally very, very excited about. Right back to
There we go.
2020 we
I think
go.
we've already
We're
seen this
also gonna
image
revisit
already.
The origins of Verdansk and how Warzone came to life with Infinity Ward. Some stories from inside the belly of the beast. It's the promise the pod has always offered.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to IW about where this all started, but also talk to Raven and Beanox about how we got here to season 3 and bringing Verdansk back and some of the incredible work that's been done, some of the exciting gameplay and quality of life changes that are coming to season 3. And, we're going back to basics, and that is something that is very exciting to me.
Yes, we love to hear the
Really
back to
excited
basics.
look back and forward. Plus, the mailbag is back. I'm going to put you on the spot, Steph, with some burning questions.
no.
We've
Oh,
seen
yes.
it out in the world, to make sure you stick around to the end of the show for those mailbag questions.
And I have props for today's show, so you always know that news is going to hit. Oh, no.
Well, speaking of props, I'm glad you brought this up. At the end of the last episode, the Christmas special, you bought me a gift. I thought it was really, really sweet.
did.
So what I thought I would do is I would use your staff discount at the COD shop to grab you some sweet gear to
Verdansk
celebrate. Yeah, to
swag.
celebrate the launch of Verdansk.
Amazing.
Not
We've got a
the-
great sweater here going on.
Not
Look,
the
Verdansk.
shameless
Take a trip back
Look, you
home,
can
and
see
th-
Dam on it,
that's
which
your
is
favorite.
Promo.
You love Dam.
farmland.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
I like that hat
Another
though.
absolute treat for the listeners.
I'm taking that home.
Oh, that's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's yours. Hat as well.
Make sure you check out the COD shop.
COD
you
shop.
can get your own Verdansk collection swag.
Available now.
All right, let's get to it.
We're thrilled to welcome in Jack O'Hara and Mark Grigsby, studio heads at Infinity Ward. Gentlemen, welcome to the COD Pod. Very excited to have you here today to reel back the clock, look back at Warzone. Very, very excited. I mean, where did it all start with Verdansk?
I mean, this was a long, long time ago in, 2017, something like that we started first talking about it.
Wow.
And at the time, there was a bunch of games coming out that were kind of big open space, and the genre was kind of taking off. So we that's when we first started having the conversations about it, and a lot of it for us was, how do we go from making the corridor-based shooters almost to this wide open space, and how are we going to get there? So that's kind of where we started, and then it was a long journey of developing the technology to be able to do it, which is always the fun and terrifying thing of, like, you can't play the thing yet, but I promise you it's right there.
It's going to be
Yeah,
good.
It's going to be good.
We promise.
Yeah. And so, I remember things like us starting off with one of the first POIs to be laid out was kind of the Verdansk airport. And then from there, it was like, hey, let's lay this out. It works in the tools, but we can't actually see it in game kind of thing, because we were just breaking all the limits to get to where we could actually play in these much bigger, much more open spaces. And then eventually we focused in on an apartment block, and we were like, hey, we're gonna look like what our art fidelity is like in that space, and that was one of our big pushes. And then how are we gonna do the kind of more organic terrain all around this? So those were all some of our early gates that we went through, was to kind of prove out these little moments and make little vertical slices of these to kind of show them off.
Wow,
So
piece by piece, huh?
Let's
Holy.
take a step back. So all the while this is happening, you guys are also actively developing and then shipping Modern Warfare 2019.
Yeah,
And you decide, you know what, this game also needs is a battle
we're
royale.
fine with our game. We need some more, struggles.
This is like a passion project.
Right.
we were actually, very on schedule for 2019. It was one of the more on-time projects, and then we were like, well, let's make this a real challenge.
It wouldn't
and
hurt.
throw it with- let's
We
make
ship
big
a
giant map.
battle royale.
Battle
Yeah.
royale.
So what was the initial thing that when you look back at Warzone, when you set out to make it those years before in development, you said this is going
Crazy.
this is what's gonna set
3
it
years
apart. This is
before
a
launch, they were
Call of
working on this.
Duty
3 years.
battle royale.
Long time.
What was sort of the core DNA you thought about when you started this project?
Well, the gunplay in general needs to be on point from that Call of Duty experience.
Yep.
That was one of the biggest things we
Gunplay
focused on for 2019
in
Modern Warfare.
Verdansk
So that traveling over into
into MW19
the battle royale portion
is absolutely
like, the
premium.
guns are just
So good.
I still say it to this day, best guns in the industry.
Yep.
And
I couldn't
just
agree
having that
more.
Just nonstop throughout the entire process of developing that game was unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched.
The feel of the weapons in
dude.
2019, in Warzone, definitely like Hall of Fame status for
for
us.
sure.
Indeed, I'll pat myself on the back because I was part of it. But no, it was really awesome.
I just got to play it,
Yeah.
which I'm also very grateful for. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're always looking, like, one, we wanted to be Call of Duty, and then the second thing is we're always looking at even when we started this, it's like, what is going to be our special version of it? What is going to be special about what we do in it? And what are the elements that are going to make it, resonate with our audience and our players, and how we're going to do that. So that's just a constant debate.
Yeah.
and
I mean, the
conversation.
first thing that comes to mind when I think about that is the Gulag, right? Because that was
That's
something
right.
that
That's so
we
fresh.
Yes.
that was like the hallmark thing for me the first time I played was like, wow, there is this respawn mechanic that's super interesting.
A
How did that
1v1 second
enter the
chance is such a great
conversation?
idea.
I mean, it was basically like we were all playing these games, and it was, these types of games. And one of the most brutal things is you just die and bam, that's
that's
it.
It's over.
And
yeah.
I'm back at the
Right.
main menu, and I'm like, you guys still there?
Yeah. It's like,
How's it
Wanna
going?
play
How's the
again?
lobby?
Yeah.
Are you winning? Hurry up and die.
are you winning,
Um,
son?
So there's a lot of that going on when we were playing them, and then somebody threw out the idea that we should
Give a second chance.
give a second chance, and it should be mano a mano, like just in
yeah.
the gulag.
1v1 me.
That's
Yeah,
so,
and then-
that's so
and-
COD.
yeah.
That's so COD.
Yeah.
And then somebody threw out, I forget who threw out the idea of like, it should just be the original Gulag from the original Modern Warfare. And
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's the spot.
That's the thing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard so much about how this map came to be, and every little tidbit, I'm like,
Yeah.
just want to soak it all up. Like, how did it all start?
I mean, it started with that designer just kind of laying out what
Airport,
we
yeah.
couldn't even run, you know what I mean? And it was kind of started off on the kind of northern end with the airport, and and then trying to figure out how the building blocks would work, and then we started throwing in like
Wow, that
downtown
pre-alpha footage
and
is
just kind of
crazy.
evolving, like, what is in this space?
That
It was
is
a
what
lot
it
of trying to
looked
lay
like
out
at one point.
holistic map that felt like a real place and had correct,
Look at the vehicle, too. That
transitions between
vehicle
the
is,
stations.
like,
That's one of the
insane.
hardest things I think for us to do.
All the
is just-
city planning.
yeah, the
Yeah.
city planning, that it's got to make sense. And each area had its kind of unique challenges, from like downtown's density was definitely pushing it. That's why in some places you see like parking lots or little, military storage, is because like that's one building too many. So let's convert that to a parking lot kind of thing. And that's a challenge because then you got to make it look natural.
This is all work that had never been done before on
No.
this scale, right?
For us, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just, we'd done it at smaller scales, but doing it at this massive scale for us was definitely new challenges and new limits to be pushed.
In MW19 alone, like Arklov Peak, a big map.
Yeah.
A very, very big map.
Yeah.
Like COD standards. But this is next level.
So I have to ask this for both of you. What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite POI? Either like a story from development that you remember. We talked about airport a little bit as one of the first building blocks, but when you look back, or even as a player, like, is there somewhere that you're just like, that's it for me?
As a developer, for me, downtown was really, really cool. It was having some issues when we were developing it for right before we shipped. With I think we had a bunch of crashes and some crazy things. So we all for several nights would go and go to the middle of the downtown and throw grenades to try to find the crash. Right. It was wild for several hours. We're just throwing grenades in the middle, but it gave awesome memories of how cool that downtown area was. You would start at one end and run all the way to the middle and then start throwing grenades.
Jack, what about you?
I mean, definitely downtown, but I can't say it now because he said it.
What are some of the other things that
downtown
we
is
should know about
insane, the density of it.
I mean, we just flew through that plume of smoke, which was a source of great debate because we wanted to show that this city had been hit. And so we wanted to have that big plume of smoke to go through there to kind of draw your eye towards that city center. So, for us, it was how do we try and have this city, because we hadn't really seen cities in this type of game before. So we wanted to make sure that we had one, which was both a technical and a design challenge. And then we wanted to make sure there were landmarks within each one. So we had the bank with the vault inside.
Oh.
We had that big center.
One of my
broadcast
favorite
tower,
buildings.
that was in there. And we also wanted to give the feeling of a city that had this military occupied presence, which is why there's the checkpoints there and the various military portions of it. So there was definitely a lot of conversations on the
Downtown, the fights that you could have in downtown, and
smooth over
verticality, flying off.
city in there.
Well, speaking
Super
of
epic
other
place.
iconic POIs, prison. I mean, this is one of the most recognizable, best POIs on the map. So much action there. What did you guys want out of designing prison specifically?
We wanted a POI that stood out. This is always the thing in BR maps, is trying to make sure that every POI has a personality, has a flavor. And this one has a long history back to Prisoner 627 escaping from here. So somebody, a designer, threw it in and was like, oh yeah, that nostalgia hits. And then like Griggs was saying, it's kind of like,
They're not wrong. This prison did have a really deep personality,
start the match,
super
but we wanted to
like
you could escape from
super
the side,
intricate. There's a lot of levels to it.
So as we look back at some of our
and that gloomy part, that was when you were really checking every corner. It was dark.
Something, personally or at the
Definitely
studio
a
level that
different
you're
vibe.
super proud of, or you just remember it really fondly as a favorite?
Well, I mean, it's not from Verdansk, but it was from El Mazrah, where
we're celebrating the whole
yeah,
5 years
the
of
whole
Warzone.
thing. Yeah,
so.
the whole thing. So during the St. Patty's Day event, there was this moment where when you fly in, there's a big rainbow. And at the end of the rainbow is, of course, a pot of gold, which is a bunch of golden loot crates where you just have tons of awesome loot. And in one of those crates was this green sniper gun that was a one-shot kill.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
didn't tell people
Didn't tell
when it
anybody.
launched either.
I didn't even know that they did it until I was at work one day and I was working, and then I looked and I was watching some dude and he was like, "Yeah, they got this new one-shot sniper in it." And I was like, "Oh." And I said, "Tonight,
Boot up now.
the one-shot sniper." We played that. Oh my God! It was a moment of like.
I don't know
flying
if
in
they're
there.
like alluding
Hopefully
to
you got the
something.
gun.
If one-shot
Once you got
snipers
the
are coming
gun, you just tell everybody,
back.
"All right, I got it. I'm going. You'd leave, get far away enough from the.
Well,
from
I
the-
hope
from the
so.
mayhem. And then turn around.
Bring
and
it
you're
back, I
sniping
think.
every single dude, and
Yeah.
it was so good. And if somebody got you, they grabbed the gun and then they turn it around and you. Man, it was one of the best moments I'd had in just the BR or Resurgence in general. Still to this day, I tell them every day. I was like, "Man, we need to bring back something like that
Yeah.
next time." It's so good.
There's always such good holiday like moments in Warzone. I think that's something that when I look back on that I have just loved playing in.
That's
but
one thing that
also
I hope
the
that they
LTMs, right,
start
our
doing a
limited
little
time
bit more. I know they've been
modes.
gearing towards Verdansk
When I
and
think back to
all the stuff.
Verdansk, I'm a massive
The
Armored
fun
Royale
fun
fan.
modes they need
I
to start
just
bringing back.
remember driving, getting the squad in the truck. Everybody's running launchers and other seasonal things like the haunting. Incredible.
Yeah, haunting's one I'm particularly fond and close to. To me, you know, coming to America and seeing how everybody celebrates Halloween here and goes all out, you know, and that's spreading out to the rest of the world, but it's all out here.
Yeah.
And it's intense, and that was kind of to me it's awesome, and wanting to recreate that in the game during the pandemic was like, hey, we can't go outside to do that, so let's do it inside the game.
Celebrate Halloween here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, they
even that
killed
one
it.
at
The
time,
first
you know,
haunting.
working from home and
The first
just
haunting
my team
had
was like
some of the most incredible
we
moments
pulled it
that
off, and we
to
were
this
kind of
day.
scrappy about what we were going to do in that first haunting. And then in the second one that we did, where we were able to bring in, you know, fun POIs like the mummy, the swamp monster, the Diablo,
The butcher,
the butcher
yeah.
from
Butcher,
Diablo, and his arena. It was just, those have always been really fun to make, and it's kind of just like, hey, what's the craziest thing we can do that people can have something different, a little. No, the UFO is one of my personal favorites. And getting the, you know, when the little alien falls out of it as well, it was just that was golden. But just the sight of that, I remember having that.
That's what
first
just
meeting,
makes
it's like, we
Warzone
need
so
to
fun
part
too.
the
Part the
water,
seas. I
part the
remember
seas,
someone
and
being
then-
like, we're parting the
and it's
seas.
just like, oh my god,
Some of these
what do we do?
modes,
And
man,
it's
are
like,
just
yeah.
incredible.
And then the artists getting super excited about trying it and having meetings
And the
about
fact that it was
yeah.
still functional too.
Yeah.
You
could get in the
swim
water,
in,
yeah.
jump out,
Yeah.
jump back in, and it was
great.
Yeah, it was good.
It's one of my favorite things to see the players experience all of those things for the first time, and then posting all their videos
Yes.
and their reactions, that kind of stuff. Watching on TikTok when it starts, people
Playing
starting
the
to find
haunting
stuff
for
and
the
they're
first
just-
time was just legendary.
Technical challenges that
Something new,
existed
fresh that we'd
from
never done
building such
before.
a big map for the first time at IW. When you look back at some of the challenges that you faced, you know, what were those like, and how did the team come together to kind of make that happen in the end?
You know, there was so many to talk
Yeah.
through, but you know, there was the challenges of making the map, running in frame, making it look as good as it can, making sure play visibility
150
is
players.
good.
150.
And then, yeah, after that, it
150.
was like, hey, we just need to increase the
Well,
number of
it
players.
started
yeah.
like at 100,
Yeah.
then 125,
yeah.
150.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But our very first Battle Royale match was actually played on a completely different map called Ferida. There was just a little compound in the middle of the desert, and that was like 12 people. And you all started in the circle, and you ran in the middle, tried to grab something and survive. And we were like, oh, there's a glimmer here. It is, you know, super fun with our mechanics and our gunplay. And then it was like, okay, but now we need 48 players, and just that, you know, is a leap.
48,
beyond-
80, 100, yeah.
64.
And as you go through those, you just hit new problems. You know what I mean? Like, what if
Yeah.
150 players gather in one spot and you got to draw them all on screen? So, you know, we kind of just.
Was there a moment in the studio where everyone, hey, what's going on in that room? I want to get in that game. And you're like, well, give us a mo. We'll increase player count. We'll figure this out, you know.
Well, we play test. We have these pits where we play test almost every day.
Those
Yep.
play
Yeah,
tests are
that's it.
wild.
Yeah.
Like I will say this, they're so fun. When you look back at those, what are some of like the best memories you have of those late nights play testing with the
So they do
crew
play
and,
test,
you
huh?
know, getting everybody together?
Confirmed.
Well, I mean, for me, it was the competition that you saw. Like in the beginning, I was terrible at BRs. I'd never played them, but I loved them. I was like, all right, King of the Hill. Okay, cool. That's you know,
I got
I'm
it.
competitive, right? But the more we got into development, like you started seeing the players that would always like be at the top of the leaderboard. After a while, you started, you know, we would play, and then you're getting better and better, and then you're starting to get into circles where maybe Jack and maybe Nahara would probably be in,
Yep.
and those were the
Steve,
two that would
yeah.
always be there, right? And then you know,
Waiting for you.
waiting for me. Right? Got better over time, but you know, those are really really fun play tests for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we first put in the circle logic, and there was no logic, and so just it ended in really strange places. So I remember having fights that were just in the most bizarre of like final circumstances kind of thing.
Yeah.
That eventually led us to be like, oh, okay, maybe we should, you know, try and pick better endings for the circle and pre-compute them and that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, dynamic circles and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So fun.
Sometimes you look at that circle and you think, there's not a lot of cover there. That's a farm field.
Yeah.
We've got some concealment of a bush or two, but like, all right, this is going to be interesting.
Well, you need the farm so you can loot.
Yeah.
Once it got sweaty in the playtest, and like for example, Final Circle at farm, and everybody's in houses.
In the houses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And at first, you know, there was kill streaks, there was no warning of them and that kind of stuff. So you stack kill streaks and then be like prepping them for that moment. Kind of thing. So,
No
Good times.
kill
Speaking
streaks
of
with,
times, though,
with no alert is
you,
crazy.
You know, you build this out, you launch the game in March 2020, and then everything changes. I mean, a literal global pandemic locks everyone indoors.
yep.
Yeah.
You know, it brings everyone together in a really, really sort of weird and challenging way. You've still got to get the game out. What? I mean, how did you launch it?
I mean, it was kind of a crazy
Like
time.
this?
Yeah.
In pajamas.
Right.
Oh man.
I mean, it was a crazy time for everyone, but we quickly got into a rhythm. We would meet every day. We would be talking every day about like, because we'd work during the day and then we'd play at night. So we'd basically be like, you come in the next day, you're like, I played this was not good, this was good. There's these bugs, let's go fix them, let's find the people. And so we were meeting as a team literally every day for like an hour at the end of the day, going through every single item that we had to do to just kind of maintain that communication and that human contact as we were going through the ship. And then it was just kind of even crazier because the game took off, obviously, and then we were
Guess what? Time to support.
yeah, time to
Yeah,
support.
so
Dude,
then
this
what-
is
how we
where I
operate
wonder,
this, how
because
we
it's
keep
not
it
them
fresh.
working on it right now. I wonder
Yeah.
what that
There was
looks
no
like
mocap.
now.
Yeah.
And
Like,
if
we
they're
had to
still
do these
doing
new things
like
called,
play
X
testing, if
suits.
they're still doing the
Yeah,
hour
we
and the
send
end
them
of
to
the day,
animators to-
talking
to
about
the
issues.
house.
I wonder what it looks like
There's no
now.
cameras. They're
Out of
just
curiosity.
the body has all the data.
Interesting.
We would get that, convert that through the mocap crew, and then give that to the animators. It was a wild
A
time.
lot of new things happening all at once. And then, you know, like you said, that's on the development side, but from a player standpoint, the game takes off, right? And all of a sudden you start to see that in a very challenging time, Warzone is one of the few things that's bringing people together. And it's this source of
social
networking. And so what was that like to see, you know, on the other side that's out in the world now? And not only is it doing well, but it's also creating these really amazing moments for players.
I mean, we were living a lot of them with the players.
Right.
And so it kind of felt like we had a purpose to kind of keep it going and make sure it's as smooth as possible. And just
Nice.
because everybody that you'd meet in the game is talking. If you had interactions outside, there was you'd talk to some people on that. I played it every night with my friends, and that's how we keep in touch. So it definitely felt like a Call of Duty to keep it alive.
Same thing.
We could cut it there.
That's
Probably.
it. Ship it. No, I mean it did bring the world together in a great way.
Yeah.
I mean, I reconnected with friends from school straight away.
I reconnected with
Across the
cats that
planet.
I hadn't talked to in 10 years.
Yeah.
And then we played every single night.
Yeah.
Like, still to this day, 5 years later, we're still playing.
I love that. I think when I think about that too, it's interesting. 'cause
Yeah, it's
that was
crazy how
kind
many
of one of the
people
most
and
fun
friends
things
and
at the time.
There's
is
so many people that
everyone
you
was
met along the
learning
way
and
just through
figuring
not even just
these things
Warzone,
out
but gaming in
together.
general.
Someone
Just
out there
how it's
listening
crazy
is
it
like,
brought
I'm
us
not
together.
And I was
And then
I
when
was
the
just
the
day
pandemic
one.
and
Jack was
and
really
COVID
not
happened,
trash.
it
let's
just
be
blew
clear.
up even
That's
more.
amazing, guys.
And it just
But-
it's on a
but
10
no,
it's on a scale 10
and
times.
learning and
Yeah.
building
It's
these
really cool how
strategies
it
around the
how it all
circles the
happened.
more and more time they spent in the game, which
Yeah.
was a really cool sort of like communal moment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, jokes aside, like I think everybody kind of quickly learned, came up with strategies. Like you'd see people repeat those strategies, share them, and all the rest, and then just the level of the player just kind of got raised.
Yeah,
and-
ceiling all of a sudden got a lot higher.
Yeah, like,
Oh, yeah.
I came with
Loadouts,
knowledge of the
meta
map beforehand
loadouts
because
were
I played it
insane.
kind of thing. So then afterwards, when people got much better, my number of
caught
wins
up.
Not just
went down.
strats,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Still
the
better than him, but
gameplay,
just
the
mostly-
metas.
It must have been such a cool experience watching players.
Yeah.
You've got your baby out there now. It's
Yeah.
so big, and watching players, bend it, learn, try their own things out.
Like,
I'll
how
ne-
the hell did you figure that out?
yeah, I mean the amount of times we in the early
Slide
days,
canceling.
we saw somebody pull up on a car on us, and we were like, kill it. I'm like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. And then all of a sudden, like, all right, we need RPGs now. We need C4. We need to figure out a way to deal with
Gotta
this.
put the trophy on
Send
the
the
hood.
charge.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yes.
the game just kept evolving. and
Evolving,
changing.
yeah.
With you guys, obviously, as devs, you're seeing this in a very different way. As fans, we're all just trying to find the cheapest and easiest way to win.
I learned a lot of those, like putting a claymore on the edge of your car hood and then running into people and blowing them up.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I loved the vehicles and just being like I was the guy trying to drive inside and get killed by trying to drive the truck.
Remember when the munition boxes used to blow up and kill you? That was
buildings.
insane.
100% me.
It's so exciting. Super excited to drop into season 3, but we can't talk about Warzone. We can't talk about Verdansk without Infinity Ward. So thank you both
Yeah, of course.
for being here. We're gonna see you hopefully on April 3rd in the map.
Yep.
But thank you both.
No, thank you guys for having us.
Thank
It
you
was
very
good.
much. Really, thank you
Yeah.
for coming on. Sharing
This is
some secrets
exciting
and-
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing some of the deep lore of Verdansk.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, you can't get anywhere else.
All right.
Okay, so a little bit more of like a first look kind of
All right, well,
thing.
we've looked back-
They kind of just like how it all started, the map details, just all basic fundamentals how it started, right? Nothing really new there. That's okay.
Etienne Pouliot,
See what else
Executive
they're bringing
Director
on.
at Beanox. Gentlemen, welcome
These
to
are
the
the
show.
people that created the map.
Hey.
Thank you both
This
for
new
joining
one,
us on
the new one.
CodPod. We know you're just, a little bit busy at the moment, but Pete, you are in Wisconsin at Raven, and Etienne, you are all the way in Quebec at Beanox, and your studios have been working together very closely on season 3 with a lot of the other Call of Duty studios. What has that partnership and process been like?
Yeah, it's really been great working and collaborating with Beanox. We've had this long-standing relationship on Warzone dating all the way back to the classic 2020 experience. We love the energy that Beanox brings to the table, particularly in our playtest. They are, so passionate, like we call them demons. They really hit it hard, and we love.
Beanox does a lot of good. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Beanox
it's really
made
great to work
Rebirth,
for so long
or they
with
helped
the-
make
with the team,
Rebirth.
with everyone,
I'm not mistaken. It could be
inside
them, or
Activision.
I think.
Just
but-
to have that trust, that passion, the mindset to create that Call of Duty Warzone experience that everyone is waiting for with the return of Verdansk. So again, a lot of those people were there back then and 5 years ago when the first version of Verdansk was made. So it's really great to just return to that map, make it better than ever, and just as a team, making sure that this is a great experience for all the player.
It's so cool, guys.
Awesome.
A lot of people have waited a long time for this, and we've seen the community talking about it so much over the years. Just bring it back, bring it back. It's that simple, right? That you can just do that, right? We just copy and paste or whatever. Is that what it's been like, Etienne, to bring Verdansk back to life?
Yeah, it's a bit more complicated than that, but yeah.
Putting
all the
it
teams
simply,
together-
yeah.
Yeah, put it in simply, but yeah, if you look at all the team together, we just rebuilt everything from the ground up from
Mhm.
Verdansk. So we always looking back at
From the ground
original
up
version
just
of
sounds
Verdansk, but
like
we make sure that
insane.
all the small detail, we don't
Like-
forget anything. So the goal that
I
we give
mean,
to
the amount
teams
of work,
is
the
just
amount
to
of
improve
time
and to
that they
recreate
probably
and
put into
enhance
this
all
is
the different
insane.
asset, the terrain,
Like
the
just looking at
trees,
those early
the
development
lighting,
videos when
everything
they
is
were
really
talking about
important
it,
for them. So
and then
we're just
having to
making
do
sure
that,
we look at
recreate
every
it,
building,
new
and we're making
lighting,
sure
new
that we
color,
made it to
like-
a quality that we've never seen in a Warzone map. So I'm
and then
pretty sure
enhance
that
it.
this is clearly
just-
the best version of Verdansk, and it will be pretty interesting to follow with all the player with this one.
Overall, what has been the goal for season 3 of Warzone?
Well, when we started talking about the journey of going back to Verdansk, it was really imperative that we needed to go back to our roots, not
Yes.
only in delivering just on a badass map, but also by returning to form of really what Warzone's Battle Royale really was built upon. So we wanted Battle Royale to feel like Battle Royale did back in 2020, but we really wanted a simplified experience as well, while retaining a lot of the great enhancements to deliver the best Warzone experience possible.
Oh, fantastic. Steph and I were flying over the map on the
Yeah,
way
we
here.
took the helicopter here.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
and-
guys saw.
And
We sharpened in
when
the
we're
budget for this
talking
episode,
about
was
that, I'm
huge,
thinking
and it's looking
that
great.
original
It
feeling.
really is.
No
Etienne. Can you tell us
flares,
about- what can you tell us
no
about the new
gulag
Verdansk?
tokens.
Yeah, so basically we
Like, only way to get your
redone
teammate back
everything,
is
so
a
just
gulag
like
or
I
you buy
mentioned,
them
the
back.
building, the
Like
terrain, the
that
lighting,
classic feel, you got to
really
value your life.
incredible how much detail
BR
we can
Warzone.
push
That's
into
what
the
I
map.
think.
And you see all the experience of all the developer from all the studio that we've been in Verdansk and in Warzone for quite some time, already 5 years now. So you see the quality on just the visibility, even the audio side. You really feel that you're back at home, but in a improved home, let's say. So it will be really interesting to just see where the player they will probably go to their favorite spot and they will rediscover that great map.
So can we expect those POIs to look and feel the same way as they did? You know, are people going to recognize right where they are, know how to get around a building?
Yeah, totally. So this was the primary goal, just to make sure that we don't break anything, because we know that player love the map, they love
Yep.
the way it was done. So it just where we can push the quality and the visual fidelity, and at
Yeah.
the same time,
And
if
that's
I'm
like kind of
looking at
where I'm
myself
at, and I
I'm
feel
looking
like
at
this
my
is what
favorite
should be
POI,
the
it's
goal for
Superstore. So
Warzone.
we're just making sure
A
that
great
all the
layout,
different spot that you love, that you
start
use
fresh, put
to
us
get
right where we
a
want to
kill
be,
on the others,
and then you can build
another
upon it
SWAT team. So
later
you
as
can
we go
return to the same
along.
spot
What do
and
we
have the same
need? What does
strategy.
the
And at the
community
same time,
want?
you will
Let's add
learn to love
this.
that
Let's
map
add
again, because
that.
I'm pretty sure that
Just
a
small
lot of new
quality of
players
life
will be
adjustments,
inside Verdansk for
building
the
on
first
what's
time, so it
good,
would be
not getting
interesting
too
to watch.
crazy yet.
Amazing. I mean,
Like,
I know the first place that I'm dropping
but dropping in
is the
where we
little
all
fire
remember
station
everything
above
we all
Dam. Like,
love,
Dam in
nothing's
general,
changed,
big
nothing's
place for me, but
different,
specifically that little
redefined,
fire,
you
I think it's
know,
a fire station up on top
redefined
of
quality,
the
better
hill
graphics,
there.
just something that looks.
Yeah,
Special place
it's
in
always
my
Obviously, it's
heart.
gonna look better, run better,
Yeah,
hopefully,
it's always
and
depending if
then just
you're
build
if you're
upon
looking
that. A
for
good
some
foundation, though, is
adrenaline
what we
at the beginning
really
of the game. You
severely
can
need.
choose some of the POI that are pretty exciting, like Superstore. But
Yeah,
on my
Superstore.
end, if I want to be more in control, I will go to military base or maybe even Boneyard. I really love the
Yeah,
the feeling
Boneyard.
of that
Boneyard
POI,
is really
so
good too.
that's
Boneyard
that's a
played
nice
so well.
Okay,
map
so
to
we know
start the
Etienne
game.
is hot dropping. Pete, where are you landing first time out?
Oh man, like Superstore is great, but I'm a little bit more risk adverse. So I probably, typically I'm used to drop at Quarry or Promenade West or even train station. I like those areas because you can get mixy if you really want to. There's a good amount
Yeah.
of loot, good amount of cover. Contracts are always fun to do in those areas, and they have good rotation spots depending where the circle's going.
Quick shout out to Farmland. I think it's underrated. Miles.
I had an incredible win.
Farmland.
I had a
What's
precision
kind of
shot
crazy
with
though is that I
like
feel like
squads at once,
even
yeah.
though
Something
all
that I
these
know I'm don't
all
get my
these
hands on are some of
POIs
the new weapons that are
are,
coming in season
you know,
3.
we're like,
Pete,
ah,
it's
it's
cool. We're
like
gonna get some
it's
of
not
the original guns from
Superstore, it's
Warzone's
not
launch,
Hospital.
on Verdansk.
Even
Some
when you
definite
did
fan
land there, I
favorites
felt like they were
returning.
they all
Can you
had
let
the
us know
life
what
of
they
their
are?
own. You felt
Yeah,
immersed
The
in the
classic
area,
Verdansk
and it was all
experience
really
wouldn't
fun to
be the
play.
same
Like it
without
doesn't
bringing
matter
back
whether it
a
was
few iconic
Farmland,
tokens, so excited to say that
Boneyard,
for season 3, we've rebuilt
Superstore,
some of these
obviously.
awesome weapons from that
Airport was a
classic
lot of
era.
fun to
The
play in,
Emacs, the
except for
Kilo,
that
the
stupid
HDR, are all
ATC.
coming back for
that building.
Verdansk. It's great having these familiar guns back. If you recall, the Emacs had a little bit of a kit.
Okay.
If you could control it, it's extremely lethal.
Whoa, first look
The
at it.
Kilo is a great all-around assault rifle. I loved using the Kilo back in the day.
Kilo,
Really, my
man.
favorite weapon of that era was using the
These are first
HDR.
looks at all these
I'm
guns,
happy
by
to
the
say
way.
that
Like
if you really
actual,
can pull
like
it off,
I
you can
think.
knock somebody from like 500 meters plus away. That
Wow,
just
that
feels
was
so great.
that was huge right there. That was huge right there. I don't
And
know.
don't forget the Kali stick too.
The
It
Kali
was one of the
sticks?
weapon that was pretty iconic from season 3, and I think
No
they will be back. So a lot
way.
of players will be waiting for those. And I think we
Oh
have some in the
my
studios.
god, dude.
On my side, my weapon
I don't
is
know whether
always
to
the
like be
Kilo.
like,
So
oh, this
I
is
think
awesome, or
it's one of the
oh
reasons that
fuck,
so many
like
players
this is actually
decided
insane, dude.
to have a great time, a great
No
memory with that
way,
weapon.
man.
So we're bringing it back.
I can't believe
And
that.
on
That
my
was
side, again, I'm
that
a
was a
big sniper
curveball.
lover with the HDR, but I don't have the skill to get a shot to someone, so I always return to my Kilo to make sure that I have a chance to win.
Old Faithful. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Kilo later in the show, but something I remember really fondly, speaking of favorite weapons about Verdansk, was very clean
Come on.
iron sights. And
Come
I think,
on. What are we
we all
thinking? What
know
are we
and
leading
loved
into?
them in the original experience, which means I have to talk about the Grau.
I knew
Which is
it.
coming to season
Nice.
3, but in a different way, and that's
Okay.
as a conversion kit for the SWAT 556. So
A
if you haven't
conversion
played,
kit.
Warzone in a long time, we introduced conversion kits in MW3, and it's actually a firing mod that you're going to be able to equip that will change the performance of the SWAT to feel a
That
lot
SWAT is the
like
3 burst.
the original Grau. Pete, what's this been like in play tests? I know people are going to
Interesting.
be curious.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Just because it's like a conversion on a gun doesn't mean it's any lesser of a gun. The Grau is back, and we are so happy to
Okay.
be playing with it in the play test.
The
It's been
Grau
a
is
really
back.
big hit in our internal
I'll
play
remember
test.
that.
It's highly
That's the quote we
accurate,
need
it's
to hold
very
on to. The
familiar,
Grau
it
is back.
performs back in its prime. And like you mentioned, like those iron sights
Yeah.
are pretty awesome. They are very rad. You know, really,
Okay.
when we talked about bringing these weapons back, we
Oh,
wanted to pay homage, really wanted to make these returning weapons feel as good as possible. So
I
we
mean, it
felt
looks
that, and we
good.
wanted to make sure that we really paid that off for our fans and players.
I can't wait.
Needle iron sight. It was
Cannot
so
wait for
much fun
Grau.
to use. Felt so great. Kilo 1 for 1 fan here, born and bred. But guys, let's talk a little bit about these weapons if we can, because we saw on social media floating on the weekend that floating loot is back.
Yes.
What's the deal with that?
Well, you know, floating loot.
Floating loot, we kinda
was
saw some
something that
pictures
our
of this.
community wanted, and we really felt that it was a great time to bring it back. We wanted to simplify the experience, right? And floating loot is a part of that. And it behaves just like it did back in 2020. So you'll see ground loot, you know, be floating in the world. If you open up a crate, that will pop out and float. You take down an enemy, their other loot will be floating around for you to kind of.
See, that's what I feel like there's so
made
much
the,
more dope.
The looting experience
than-
much more intuitive and just kind of.
Yeah, it
much
just feels so
simpler,
much
you know,
good. Like you get
really
more
to just
dope when
enjoy
when
it.
it's
And
all
the guitarist
floating
is
there,
back.
it's glowing,
I
and
understand.
What'd you say?
Legendary crates, folks. We need to work on that a little bit, but
Definitely have to work on that.
Yeah, the legendary crates are back now. One thing about legendary crates, you know, we really wanted to make these special. And so what we're doing is there's going to be less of them in the world than maybe what you'd experience in today's game, more reminiscent of the classic 2020 experience, but we've juiced up the loot in the legendary crates to
Okay.
really make them feel impactful and like make you feel special when you find one in the world.
now, Pete, there are some updates
Make it feel like we're
coming
finding, like, a-
to movement in season
don't know.
3 of Warzone.
A gold
what can
scar or
players
something.
expect to feel?
Yeah, so when Verdansk returns, players are going to experience an updated movement system built just for Warzone. Omni movement isn't going away, right? So we do want to prioritize the Battle Royale experience, and we want to ensure that movement feels right in Warzone. So
Give me bunny
bespoke
hops, bro.
changes and simplified movement is going to really improve upon the original experience.
And so we're getting a version of Omni movement that's been specifically tuned just for Warzone and maybe feels a little bit closer to the original movement.
Absolutely. We love the predictability in the combat scenarios with movement. We still want to give you all of the agency that Omni movement brings you, but the tuning, again, is going to be unique just for Warzone.
That's what I love to hear.
It felt so particular, the way that how much.
I don't know
much
what
went
that
for
even
the pace of the
means, but
game.
I'm excited.
What can you share with us around how it feels again?
Pacing is an incredibly important part of the Battle Royale experience. So in Season 3, we're working to deliver a simplified version of what is closer to the original experience. Risk versus reward is such a huge and important part of that experience. Your life, your actions, strategies, all should matter. You know, part of that comes from what tools you have at your disposal or what ways you can regain, including how you loot.
As you look to sort of, you know, get back to the original experience, prioritize Battle Royale, simplify, you know, what we're doing in Warzone, I have to ask, are any of the original contracts coming back as well?
Yes, all of the original contracts are back.
Okay.
So that means a classic recon's back. And if you don't remember what that was, this is going to be replacing the Intel contract. And so what I loved about the recon contract was you still have a lot of player agency when setting off the recon point. So you go just walk up to it, it fires off a flare, and then, you know, alerting teams that like someone's setting something off, but you can move around and fight in that moment. The cool thing here is the more players, teammates you have here that are helping you take over that point, the faster that point is captured. We've made an enhancement this year to the classic version is now that when you're starting to capture the point, you're actually going to get to see a radius in the match.
Yeah, that's dope.
To let you know where the area of influence is there.
Little
And
fighting
the other
area.
one that is a classic contract is the supply run. And this was great because this awards a discounted item from the buy station.
Yeah.
So if you were in dire straits coming back from the gulag, you could land on one of the contracts and hop in a vehicle and head towards a marked buy
I
station.
forgot about that one.
Risking it all to kind of bring back a teammate for free. It really was very, very cool. And all of the other classic contracts are there, like Scavenger, that's tuned the way the original one was. Bounty's there, and the Most Wanted is as well.
Awesome. So bespoke movement coming to Warzone. And Etienne, is this something that you guys were considering?
Oh, they're getting kind of nitty gritty about like how this really feels, like about where we're kind of starting at. We're starting
Yeah, we make
pretty
sure we
early
play every day.
stages.
So it's really important, and we play every day the live version of Warzone, and we play every day the development version. So we just make sure that all the tweaks, all the decisions that we've been making, is to make sure that you will have the most fun inside that map. And even if you're an old player, you will get a sense of, oh, this is Warzone, this is the experience that I want to play. And for newcomer, again, it will be a way to just making sure you will learn the mechanic of the game, and after that you will learn the PY to make sure you can understand and take advantage of the situation, and maybe you won a match. So again, a lot of iteration, a lot of effort to everyone in all the different teams.
No,
just
they're
so we
getting
can
nitty gritty.
ensure we
Everything
have the
I'm
best
hearing is like
version
they were,
of Verdansk and
and the
Warzone for
fact that
all
they are
of
being like
season
so
sounds very cool.
secret
Sounds like
about
a
it.
lot
Like
of
we
work
haven't really
as
seen
well.
gameplay yet. We
They've
haven't
been
really
busy.
seen
They've been
like
work- everybody's been working
we've
hard
seen
on this
3
for a while.
guns so far.
That sounds great.
Some
Verdansk, obviously,
AI
one of my core
versions
memories
of
around
it.
game mode,
We saw a
since
little
driving
bit
vehicles,
of
well
the
as
map,
crashing
like
helicopters in
of
prison,
like
or,
POIs
you know,
just
even
recently.
ATVs,
They
they're
are
very
keeping
important,
this
very
thing
fun.
really
I've
tight,
heard there's some
under
new
wraps.
favorites coming back,
Everyone's signing
in Season
NDAs.
3.
Like
Can you
if
share
you
any
played it,
information?
like there's so
Yeah,
little
so
we've seen,
listen,
man.
the
Reminds me of that like
VR
classic,
experience
like when we dropped this, like
had a
nobody
really
was
an
expecting
uproar
this.
towards rotating around the map. And so vehicles played such an important role in that. Now, one thing I want to clarify is we're removing redeploy balloons in Battle Royale, so we can
Okay.
put the strategy back in traveling around the map and using vehicles or using movement, your player
I feel like
movement
that's
in an
a pretty good
intelligent
thing.
way. And so
You know, I
They're
feel like
gonna be
that's a
more
really
important than
good,
ever. Yeah.
important.
absolutely
Get us back to the
right. And so
basics,
the only way
right?
to
Like
make
balloons
them
will just
as
like
impactful as they
muddy
need to
the
be was
water
to
a little bit of
completely
like, it's not
rebalance
really like
the
perfect. This
handling
never
and
would
like
really
how
happen in
damage
the old
worked to
one. Like
vehicles.
this, what am I
So
playing?
vehicle control and maneuverability is more like it was back in
Bertha.
2020. So there's been a lot of updates to like the voice
Nice.
simulation and the
That's
physics,
back.
which
Okay.
allows for like smoother turns and like better
Alright.
off-roading. It's it's a higher fidelity version of what you remember from the classic experience from the vehicles. And really, Verdansk wouldn't be Verdansk. I mean, you mentioned going to prison and all that stuff. You wouldn't be able to really have that moment without the classic helicopter, and it's coming back, right? And so it's not just the model that's
Nice,
coming
man.
back. Our aim was really to bring
I mean, we
back
kind of
the
already knew this, but it's
classic
always nice to
feeling
just
of
be,
that
it's
helicopter.
confirmed.
We really wanted to be
Like that.
reminiscent of like all the cool
Beautiful
moments
clap
that you
moment.
could experience back then. I can't wait to see clips of like people swapping seats and like sniping somebody, or
Yeah, the seat
chopping
swaps,
somebody up with the
chopping
blades, or
people
even,
up,
like,
bro.
chucking the
You could get
helicopter out
those.
to take out a squad.
You can get those instant.
Let it be known, I nearly did make it through the tunnel. I got right to the very end before the blades hit. I remember there was a period of time where if you didn't have a teammate with C4 or an RPG,
Yeah.
you were in serious danger.
That was a
serious
problem.
danger.
I remember throwing the trophy in between the seats of the helicopter and just like thinking
We're safe.
it might work.
It did
Yeah,
work.
sometimes it worked.
It did work. It could.
Sometimes, but so that's so exciting. And Etienne,
Sometimes.
how did you guys think about vehicles in terms of placement on the new Verdansk?
Yeah, so it was really important for us
I mean,
to just
that
look at this
playing with like
from
with
back then and making sure that
D4,
we
the
were going to use
RPGs, that
all the
was
same
such a
spawn
fun
location
time.
for
I mean,
vehicle
it was just a
type. So
different
if you look at
like
the
play
AMV
style. I know it's
downtown
like
or cargo
like when you think now it's like, oh my god, I'm
Me,
at
I was
RPGs.
always
Like,
the
what am I
driver of my
playing? But
squad,
like
so
at the end of the day, like the gameplays and the videos and the clips that were made out of that, unmatched, almost like one-shot snipers. It's
I just
insane.
remember so many great games that we are in the cargo truck and we just chase other team and we just try to ram them, but sometimes it doesn't work, but it was always a fun time. So again, we're just making sure like buy station, loot crate, everything, we're just looking back at spawn position from back then, making sure that we nail those. And after that, we just, like Pete mentioned, we just do some tweaking and ending, making sure that everyone has a fun time.
So excited.
Awesome.
So excited for the
Awesome.
cargo truck.
Oh, not the cargo
Satisfaction.
truck.
For this back. Now, okay, so we know patch notes for season 3. They're coming together and they are going to be meaty this season. But we've heard there's some really exciting quality of life changes that are coming as part of that to Warzone. Can you give us a little sneak peek of some of the quality of life updates that you're looking forward to?
I think that if you want to read all the different patch notes, you will need to take the whole night
Set
because
some time
there's a
aside.
ton of it will be a ton of fun just to read those. So, but
Wow.
we need to make some choice. And for
I
me,
am a
one
little
the
bit of a
one,
patch note
quality of
nerd
life
too. I'm not gonna
improvement we
lie.
have for season 3 is the opportunity to, when you're going to inspect a weapon, you will see the attachment that is present on the weapon. So many times I kill someone, I take his gun as a trophy, and I wanted to understand what is on that thing. And now it will be possible with just the weapon inspect animation. You will clearly see in UI what is present, and after that you can replicate that strategy on your own weapon. So that's something pretty cool. And just to give another example of a quality of life that will be present in season 3, we're going to give more information on the field upgrade that your own squad mate have. So it will be a great strategic choice just to understand what you have in your team, and after that make the next move on your
That's great.
opponent.
Honestly, being able to
And I think
understand,
that
like
you
I
have
think like they
other
kind of
quality
added
of
that
life
like
that you
what your teammate has a
looking for.
UAV or your teammate
there's a
has
couple. I'm going to cheat and give you a couple here. So one thing that
Gulag
we're
self-revenge
really
just
excited
helps
about
you
is we're
understand the
updating
like
our-
what
it's
the
not-
game, what's
it's kind
happening
of
in the
like a
game.
quality of life update, but it's really something to help either new players or kind of players that haven't played for a little bit of time. So we're updating our default loadouts to be able to to include a very competitive kilo and HDR. So if you're new to the game or you don't want to level the weapon up, you're going to be able to, like, once you acquire your loadout, you're going to be able to kind of go right in and play with
That'll be
one of those two
huge.
weapons.
I feel like
and have a great
especially to
time,
keep
see if
retention
that's the
for
style
new
of weapon
players,
you like. But the
give them
other kind
something
of
that they don't
quality
have
of
to
life
grind
update
for
that,
right away.
we're really
Make
excited
it feel
about
like
is,
old school. Everyone's on the
you
same
know,
playing field anyways. Like
going to the buy station is really a risk, right? Especially deeper into the match. And the last thing you want to do in like these critical moments is fumble around the UI when you're trying to buy somebody or something.
okay,
And
you've seen this. It's been
First
confirmed.
of all, we're reverting back to the vertical UI buy station, just like in the classic Verdansk days, because muscle memory is important. Buying your teammates, those are important too, right? And so what we've done is we've added a dedicated button just for buying your teammates back if they're dead, right? So let's just say you're playing in a quads, and your whole team is dead. If you have enough cash with one button click, you're going to be able to bring all 3 back. But let's say you only have enough money for 1 or 2 teammates. Well, this quality of life is going to be able to bring back as many teammates as possible. We have way more quality of lives coming, but like we're really
That's a
putting
huge.
player
That's just
experience
like
apart when we're
like right
doing,
now it's just like the
considering all these,
minute things, it's the
quality of life
details.
changes. We always
They're getting there in the cracks and the
feedback, and we're
crevices.
always gonna
Like
evolve the
this is
Incredible.
freaking
So
turning me
updated
on a
buy
little bit.
station UI
Yeah?
is
Like,
vertical. We've got the
sorry, but
redeploy all feature
like
coming to
goddamn,
buy
they're really
station, make it
getting
easier
to
for you
it.
to buy your squad mates
Fucking
back.
awesome
Very
to
cool.
see, man.
If
It's
I don't want to buy
love
the
to
entire
see
squad,
it.
but just buy 1 or 2 members of the squad back because someone might not be pulling their weight, that's possible too, right?
Absolutely. You can manually go over to the side without,
Very
leave
important.
out whoever you want, just because.
Thank you very much, sir.
Just
That is extremely important information. For me. Thank you.
He's not talking about me.
Nope. They know who they are, and they listen.
Well, there's so much information coming up about Warzone, about season 3. We've got brand new COD blogs coming with all the intel, patch notes, so much more.
Gameplay.
I can't wait.
Gameplay.
It's a lot. Pete, Etienne, what are you guys most excited for? I mean, obviously you've been on this a lot more than most, but what are you most excited for in season 3?
Yeah, I think that I'm just excited that we give back that map that everyone is waiting for. So we put so much energy and effort.
Yeah,
Just to
they
make
really
it
did. You could
feel
just
right,
tell
play
how
right.
much
So it will
they
be
put
really
into it,
an
obviously.
interesting moment to see all the player coming back and having a great time in this Call of Duty Warzone experience. So the journey will continue.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love, right? We're just as excited to play on Verdansk.
Man looks like he's
in a
about to
live
cry.
Environment, just like everyone else.
How
is.
happy he looks,
And
man.
so really for us, it's for me at least, it's like I can't wait to see the reactions, the clips, all the fun moments, like
Oh my
people trying
gosh.
to recreate.
Just imagine all the people, all the boys that we get to play with again, the old
we're gonna do our
squads that are
best
gonna
as a
hop
team to
on. It's
continue
just
working,
it's just gonna be a good
Call of
time, man.
Duty
And that's what I feel
Warzone,
like
making
Gaming is
this a
about.
great, like,
That
journey for
fun,
players to
bringing
come.
people
So
back,
this is just
bringing
gonna be
people
really
together.
excited to see where this goes from here.
And it
Awesome.
feels like
Guys,
they're
thank
doing
you
it
so
right.
much for joining us here
They're
on Cod
really
Pod,
trying to hit it
and we will see
right
you in
on the
Verdansk.
nail.
See
Thank
you
you.
in
Great to see you guys.
Verdansk. Miles, it's been an awesome day hearing from all our developers, but there's a few things we haven't talked about yet, and that is Black Ops 6 multiplayer and zombies. And breaking news. We're going to drop Season 3 of Black Ops 6 one day early on April 2nd. And if you don't own Black Ops 6, don't worry, because we'll have a free trial for you to jump into during that time. Warzone is going to go offline for 24 hours in preparation for the launch of Verdansk on April 3rd. And anyone who opens the Warzone menu during that time will receive the Kilo weapon.
Wow.
So if you already have Warzone downloaded, just click on the tile once it goes offline to get the Kilo. But if you don't have Warzone downloaded, then make sure you do that. Then open the menu so you can get the Kilo too. And trust me, you are definitely going to want the Kilo for Season 3. So Miles, you know the drill.
Absolutely.
They're pulling some Fortnite shit right now. They are going all out. They're shutting down the servers. They're going to shut down the servers for a day.
It's going to be a
They do not do that. They do not do that at all.
Dropping into Verdansk on April 3rd.
They're
so yeah,
really
pop a double XP, whatever you need to do.
Really getting ready.
Get those attachments, you know?
Yeah, get it all ranked up. Get it ready to go.
That's pretty massive.
Everyone's going to.
It just shows me how much I think that they really care about it all.
Steph, it's that time in the show. The mailbag is back, and I have got some heaters for you. But actually, first, before we do get into the mailbag, Jack talking about Easter eggs and if there are any out there. What about Area 99?
I mean, funny you mentioned that because it's almost like if there were an Easter egg on Area 99, then no one's found it yet.
Yeah.
Just
if there were an Easter egg on Area 99,
to think
no
about.
one's found it yet. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, we've got some really fun.
What the hell?
Mailbag questions this time around.
And I think I have some exciting answers from all of the Call of
Okay, I
Duty
need to play
teams.
Area 99.
So
I got to
let's
find
get
this
to
Easter
it.
egg.
Cut to the chase. It's a big one. Is Warzone ranked coming to Verdansk?
Yes. Ranked play
That's a
is
huge
coming
one.
to Verdansk, but not at the launch of Season 3.
That's fair.
It will arrive instead at Season 3 Reloaded, and that's because we want to make sure that people have a chance to get used to the map again. If you're a returning player, great, but there's also new players playing Verdansk for the first time. Ranked play has never been on Verdansk. You know, back when in the original, it was not there. And so we want to make sure that the map is feeling great. People have their bearings. The developers can work to make any adjustments between
That's
the
fine.
launch of
Get it
3
nice,
and Season 3
polished,
Reloaded,
clean.
And then
We get the
ranked
season,
play
we get ranked
will
play, and then we'll
arrive
really
on
feel where
Verdansk.
those cheaters are.
Next question. Moving over to zombies.
that point.
Hey, Treyarch, are the amalgams going in the new map?
So, if you've been paying attention, you may have seen last week that Treyarch was putting out some fun social teases about the new map, which is Shattered Veil, arriving with Season 3. And someone said, hey, what about all those amalgams? You know, we had them way back in Terminus. Are they coming to the new map? And Treyarch replied with a simple nope.
Awesome.
Period.
Done.
So I will also reply with a nope. And the zombies team at Treyarch, you know, this is all because they pay very close attention to the feedback about all of the
I don't know if this is a big thing or not.
Elite enemies coming out.
But I will say this. From what I've seen, I don't play a lot of zombies. When I was getting shadow banned a lot in the first season, that's all I could really play with zombies. Really good, really fun, visually amazing, visually appealing. Obviously, it's zombies.
Of what is waiting for you in the mansion.
And they always
in tomorrow's gameplay trailer. So stay tuned.
Gameplay trailer tomorrow for zombies. That's awesome.
Next zombies.
That's huge.
Be there?
But they're just the content they're pushing out for zombies is just so amazing.
A little bit of a don't
they just
believe
keep it
everything
coming.
you read
So
on
you
the
love to see that.
moment.
What do you mean by that?
Staggering. Who would have thunk? But I have it on good authority from the team at Treyarch that Shattered Veil is in fact bigger than the Tomb and Liberty Falls. So think size-wise, more of a traditional round-based experience like Citadel. I think is a good size comparison
Awesome.
for Shattered Veil.
Awesome. Very much fun size, but not fun size. Cool. Right on. I've got another zombies question, got another one. Can we get some info on the next perk, please?
You sure can, partner. Because we'll find out tomorrow.
I've got questions. I've got a lot, but I have another one. Onto
interesting.
multiplayer. Why is the party games menu not in Black Ops 6 yet? I want my beloved sharpshooter back.
So good news now that Infected, Prop Hunt, and Gun Game are all in Black Ops 6. Season 3 sure sounds like the right time to add a dedicated party games menu.
Right.
So, and also the second part of that question, I'd say it's your lucky day tomorrow. Partner. Stay tuned.
Excellent. Next question.
Wait,
We've heard a lot
we're
about
getting
Ricochet updates coming to
multiplayer
Season 3.
and
Talk about stuff.
So
Hang on, this is huge.
Team Ricochet is preparing to drop a blog with all the information about Season 3 and what's coming. So stay tuned a little bit closer to launch and make sure you read the blog.
Okay.
Last questions. Will there be updates to Verdansk in the future?
I can confirm that the studios and teams working on Warzone are committed to evolving the map.
There we go.
New content and updates in
Love to
future
hear.
seasons.
Love to hear that.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Can he wait? Can he wait? Well, as always, folks, we hope you share questions with us on social media using
That's
hashtag
awesome.
CODPod so we can talk about it on the next episode.
Send them in.
Yeah, make sure you're following the CODPod on all the places where you get your podcasts. And in this episode was a lot of information.
That was
info.
a lot.
Of info. It was
That was a
good to
lot.
be back. And personally, I'm going to use nearly all of it to prep for Season 3. I can't retain it all.
We're going to be ready. We're so ready.
I'm going to rewatch the episode, quite frankly. But I cannot wait to jump back into Warzone, and it's going to be a great time.
I can't wait to drive the cargo truck around with the trophy system on the hood. That is what I'm looking forward to most. The cool Verdansk breeze in my hair. But there's so much coming to Season 3. New multiplayer maps. We just mentioned Shattered Veil, the brand new round-based zombies map coming. And I know we've got lots of events coming up this season as well.
That was something that I was
And
talking about.
now,
I
Black Ops
missed
6
the
Season
events.
3 coming one day early on April 2nd. So make sure you jump in.
Those fun
those
like
weapons.
party game events,
Kilo
like he was talking
141
about.
Because you're going to need it. You're really going to need it.
St.
Wow,
Patrick's
so
Day
good. But that's it for us
Sniper,
here on episode
Halloween.
5 of the COD Pod. We'll be back with another episode soon. But for now, we're signing off live from Verdansk at TV station. We'll see you in Season 3 soon. Dun, 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 dun. We're
Breaking
Russell Odd
news.
Papers. 150 operators have been seen in the skies above Verdansk. Their motives unknown. All they want to do is loot and kill. The weather is clear.
Personally, I just want to loot. Looters can't loot.
Okay, so a lot of things. This was amazing. This is a long video, guys. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me. If you guys have stayed here so far, please do not forget to like, subscribe, keep those post notifications on so you don't miss any more updates like this. Let me know what you guys are excited about. There's a whole bunch of things, obviously stuff that we're looking forward towards in the future. I'm super excited about all of this. It looks like they're doing an amazing job to bring us Verdansk back, true to the gameplay, and it seems like they have not left any stone unturned. Please, Call of Duty, do not let us down. This seems like the last Hail Mary, if you will, this is it. So it seems like they're doing a great job. This is what they're gearing for. Everything I see looks amazing. It just sounds amazing. I just hope it plays well. I hope the anti-cheat works, which is something we're going to have to read about soon. So look out for gameplay, vlogs, all that stuff, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.